So around 2 years ago, this was fall of 2020, I decided to go to a Bible school in California. This is completely out of the blue. I was not planning on going there. I was not even thinking about it, but I decided to go last minute, a few weeks before the program started. And this program, it was in California, so flew out there. And it was a 3-month long program from September to December. So I stayed there 3 months. They would teach us about God. They would tell us how to preach, how to testify, and we would learn about the Bible and many other things. And during those 3 months, they would have a day called Reveal Day, where they would tell where each student is going after the program. Every student had to go to a missionary trip for 3 months, and they would do that through a Reveal Day. So some people went to Austria, some people went to Mexico, some people went to South Africa, many different countries. But I went with some other students, we went to Ukraine. So I am actually Ukrainian. My parents were both Ukrainian. They were born there. I was actually born there. And I moved to America when I was 6 months old. So once I found out I was going to Ukraine, I was happy, but also sad because I did not want to go. I wanted to go to somewhere else. I wanted to go somewhere different where I haven't been before. But God decided I needed to go to Ukraine. So I went to Ukraine with a few other students. To get to Ukraine, it's a 12-hour flight, or for us, it was a 12-hour flight to Abu Dhabi in Middle Eastern area. And we stayed there for 12 hours. It was a long layover. And then we had a connecting flight straight to Ukraine. So the trip was a long trip. We had a few delays, and it was around 36 hours. But once we got to Ukraine, the pastor picks us up, we go to McDonald's, and then we go to his house, which is around 3 hours away from the airport. Once we get to his house, we get situated, and we stay there for a month. And during that month, we are helping the church. We have to do construction actually at the church because they have to renovate and finish up their second story. So we're doing construction, building the bathroom, cleaning up, doing plumbing, things like that. And around a month and a half in, maybe a little bit less, the pastor actually and his family, they got sick with COVID. We haven't been sick, our team members. So they decided to bring us to a separate house, their neighbor's house actually. And we stayed there for the rest of the trip. That house was vacant. It's owned by Americans. The pastor is actually very good friends with them. So it's owned by Americans, but we were allowed to stay there. And this house, it's very rustic. It's nothing like we have here in America. It's a village house. It is on a dirt road. The house is just wood. It's super old. Hasn't been renovated in probably like 30, 40 years. The kitchen is basically on the outside. There's no heating in the house. Nothing like we have in America. The heating in that house was literally a stove in the middle of the house, and you had to feed it fire. So around the time we moved into the house, it was about end of April, I believe. So we stayed there about 2.5 weeks into the house that we moved into. We would feed the fire every night, and then we go to bed. This day, it was actually quite warm outside. I believe it was probably around 50s and 60s Fahrenheit. So it's quite warm, but inside the house, it was still kind of chilly. So we would feed the fire just out of habit, just out of what we would do every day. We fed the fire, and we went to bed. But in order to keep this fire alive, you have to actually keep the door open just a little bit. So we kept the door open a little bit, and we went to bed. I woke up around 6 or 7 a.m. And I felt nauseous, I felt sick, my head was throbbing, and I actually needed to go to the bathroom really bad. But the bathroom is actually outside, so you have to run outside, go around the house, and there's an outhouse. There's no toilet, it's literally just a hole in the ground. So on the way to the bathroom, I fainted like 2 or 3 times on the ground, and I actually made it to the bathroom somehow. But once you got out, I was sick, I needed to go to lay down, and after a little bit, probably an hour or two, we actually found out that we got carbon monoxide poisoning. The pastor told us because we were just little kids, honestly. We didn't understand everything. And the house was filled with smoke. So I don't know how we did not come to the conclusion that we had carbon monoxide poisoning, but we did after a few hours. And it's honestly thanks to God that we survived, because it's about, we went to bed at 12 a.m., woke up at 7 a.m. It's 7 hours of literally the house filling up with smoke and breathing that in all night long. Like, people don't survive that. People literally die from just a house fire, from stuff like that. But we've survived a house filled with smoke for 7 hours. And that's honestly thanks to God that we survived it, because it's amazing. And just makes us really grateful that we are alive today, that we have life, and that we are living here in America where everything is still great. We still can live, we still have food, we still have water, and just makes us super grateful for what we have in life. And yeah, that's my story of my trip to Ukraine.